Gulf of Mexico oil spill and oil's pervasive presence. So, the Gulf oil spill has you ready to quit petroleum cold turkey? Louisiana's brown pelicans would seem to have more of a chance of avoiding big oil than people could. Merely parking the car and riding a bike won't cut it. Your sneakers and bike also have petroleum products in them. Then you could cut off the AC, but the electric fans you switch to have plastic from oil and gas in them, and the insulation to keep your home cool also started as oil and gas. Without all that, you will sweat, and it'll be all too noticeable, because even deodorant comes from oil and gas. You can't even escape petroleum products with a nice, cool, fast food milkshake, which probably has a petrochemical-based thickener. Yes, oil is everywhere in modern-day society. It permeates our daily lives in ways we never think about. It's in carpeting, furniture, computers, and clothing. It's in the most personal of products like toothpaste, shaving cream, lipstick, and even vitamin capsules. Petrochemicals are the glue of our modern lives, and even in glue too. And because of all that, petrochemicals are in our blood. The Petrochemical Age. When the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention tested humans for environmental chemicals and metals, it recorded 212 different compounds. More than 180 of them are products that started as natural gas or oil. It's the material basis of our society, essentially, said Michael Wilson, a research scientist at the University of California, Berkeley. This is the petrochemical age. And, yes, perhaps that's what's wrong. Louisiana State University Environmental Sciences Professor Ed Overton, who works with the government on oil spill chemistry, said, "There's nothing that we can do on a daily basis that isn't touched by petrochemicals. Just about anything that's not iron or steel or metal of some sort has some petrochemical component, and that's just because of what we've been able to do with it," said a West Virginia University chemistry professor. "Nothing shows how pervasive and malleable petrochemicals are better than shampoo," said Kevin Swift, Director of Economics and Statistics for the American Chemistry Council, the Chemical Industries Trade Association. "The bottle is plastic, the cap is plastic, the seal and the label too. The ink comes from petrochemicals, and even the glue that holds the label to the bottle comes from oil or gas. The shampoo, it's all derived from petrochemicals," Swift said. "A bottle of shampoo is about 100% chemistry. Often some natural fragrance is thrown in. All about carbon. What makes oil and natural gas the seed stock for most of our everyday materials is the element that is the essence of life, carbon. The carbon atom acts as the spine with other atoms attaching to it in different combinations and positions. Each variation acts in new ways." John Warner, a former Polaroid scientist and university chemistry professor, called petroleum fundamentally a boring material until other atoms are added and you unleash a textbook of modern chemistry. Take a very complicated, elegant, beautiful molecule, buried in the ground 100 million years or so, remove all the functionality, and make hydrocarbons, said Warner, one of the founders of the green chemistry movement, that attempts to be more ecologically sustainable. Then take all the toxic, nasty regions and put back all the functional groups and end up with very complicated molecules. The age of petrochemicals started and took root shortly after World War II, spurred by a government looking for replacements for rubber. But, unfortunately, there's a very dark side, said a chemistry professor. He said the underlying premise of the petrochemical industry is that those little molecules will be good little molecules and do what they're designed for and not interact with life. What we're finding is that premise is wrong, profoundly wrong. And again, perhaps that's what's wrong with petrochemicals. And that is what the Gulf of Mexico or the Deepwater Horizon oil spill is showing the world the things that are wrong. And what we're discovering is that there's a whole world of low-dose health effects from petrochemicals. Many of these chemicals are disrupting the human hormone system. These are substances that don't appear in nature, and they accumulate in the human body. They persist in the environment. The problem is, science isn't quite sure how bad or how safe they are, he said. But God knows. But plastics also do good things for the environment, the Chemistry Council says. Or so they say. Because plastics are lighter than metals, they help create cars that save fuel. A 2005 European study shows that conversion to plastic materials in Europe saved 26% in fuel. Compared to the alternatives, it reduces greenhouse gases, which cause global warming and saves energy. That is rather ironic. Still, chemists who want more sustainable materials are working on alternatives. Another founder of green chemistry, an assistant administrator for the EPA, said, "We can make those things in other ways." LSU's Overton is old enough to remember the days before petrochemicals. There were no plastic milk and soda containers. They were glass. Desks and furniture were heavy wood. There were no computers, cell phones, and not much air conditioning. It's a much more comfortable life now, much more convenient, Overton said. And, again, that could be. Yes, that is what the Gulf of Mexico oil spill is showing the world. Humanity's addiction to oil also hurts the world in many different ways, more than we even know, in some kind of way. And again, these are more signs of the end times, transition days. Everything that must change quickly or rapidly, and for the better. Humans, or humanity, society, must learn how to be better stewards of the world, how to have a sustainable future for the future generations to come. Revelation, chapter 22, verse 12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every human according as his work shall be. 13. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. And there are many different signs happening daily, all around the world, in many different ways.